political factor had to be factored in into our thinking this year. I can see that, you see now, for example, it says here, this is an important operative paragraph 2, that it requests the Sri Lankan government to conduct an independent and credible investigation into allegations of violations, etc.
Right.
Now, that is a double-edged thing, because on the one hand, it does not call for international observers or international investigation team to go there. On the other hand, it asks the Sri Lankan government to do it. Now, however impartial the investigation may be, the bitterness between the two groups, or between the two communities, that is Sri Lankan Tamils and the Sinhalas. I'm mentioning Sri Lankan Tamils because there's another group of Tamils, the Indian origin Tamils, who stayed out of the conflict completely. So between these two groups, there's so much bitterness that whatever report comes out as a result of that will be condemned by the Tamil side, even the moderate parties, the TNA.
Okay.
So I don't know if that will be very effective. Of course, Sri Lankans are not going to do it, but even if it were to be implemented, it would be difficult to see anything concrete coming out of it.
All right, Mr. Jha, we'll also look at the kind of trust deficit that exists between the two communities in that country. But before that, Comrade Bhaskar, many are calling it a strategic mistake. Would you agree, or you think it's not a mistake?
Actually, no. On the contrary, having tracked this whole issue for, I would say, almost many years, going back to the early Indian involvement at the time of the IPKF to where we are now, I would make the case that actually India has arrived at what you might call as a very, very fine balance in terms of its own long-term interests and objectives, the bilateral relationship with the Sri Lankan government, I would say with Sri Lanka itself, as also the aspiration and the hope that the Tamils and the way in which their interests need to